So this is a follow-up to my last video, which was about my first love. And this is about this isn't about someone that I love, or I should say, no, I did love her, but I wasn't in love with her. We'll say that. Um and so yeah, this is that story, and this story um ties into how I lost my virginity as a disabled man. So to give context, I was just getting out of my you know what phase. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go um look at the video where I come clean about some things and you'll know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I was just getting out of that phase, right? And I was feeling kind of confident but also kind of desperate, and we actually met on this app called Whisper. I'm not sure if it's still around, but I definitely had some interesting interactions on that app from 17 to 19 that like they really changed the course of my life for sure. Um but yeah, and the context for that was that on the app you can privately message people. You share secrets like on like a PNG or a JPEG image with text. And you can privately message people on there. And at the time I was technically still a high school student. Like I was technically a super senior, but not really. I was in reality I was doing an internship uh as a translator at the high school, Spanish English interpreter, and but I was also helping out the special needs kids, and I posted something about kind of it feeling strange that I was back in a special education classroom after 17 years or whatever. um and so I posted about that, and she was like, she responded, "I'm proud of you, keep it up." Um, and I was like, "Well, gee, thanks." And then actually through the actual JPEGs, we started talking to each other, and then we exchanged numbers, and then we became friends, and then in at the start of that next year we actually met for the first time in person. And at this point I was failing, and like on Tinder and stuff, on Plenty of Fish, on OK Cupid, I had all of them. And like I no no interest from any woman there ever translated into you know um getting frisky. So I by June of that year I was pretty much fed up with the entire thing, and I was just like, "Hey man, I'm about to go on a trip. You wanna take my virginity by any chance?" And she was like, let me think about it. And I was just like, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it for you guys. I was desperate. I was freaking simping so hard, bro. But she said yes. She said yes. And honestly, my man, I couldn't believe it. I was like, holy crap, bro. I'm finally gonna get to like 19-year-old me was like, heck yeah, bro, heck yeah. Um, and so yeah, we did it for the next 2 days before I left for my trip to where I was going outside of the country. And yeah, it was interesting. I had her sneak in to my house when my mother was working, and I made sure that I was already, laying down and in bed and stuff like that. And yeah, she came, and well, the rest is history. She helped me out. And we were like, oh, okay, this is gonna be like a friends with benefits thing. And um it did start out that way, but it quickly evolved into what I would consider, or what would now be called, a situationship, right? Like, we weren't really in a relationship, but we also kind of were without being in one, if that makes sense. And we were like that for 2 years. And like, I don't know. All I can say is that it was quite the experience. I've made it clear before that I'm not interested in that anymore. Um, but I'm glad to have had the experience, and I'm very fortunate for it, because not not many people in my situation get that chance. And she was a bigger girl too, and like, I wasn't sure how that was gonna go, because like, I have a dislocated hip, and as you can imagine, I was scared that like she would literally break me, like literally, like, no joke, like split me in half down my pelvis. And thankfully that never happened, although I will say that after every time I was immensely sore down there. I was immensely sore. But yeah, we split up, even though we were never together during the pandemic. I think either a lot of people stayed together, or they decided it was time to split. I was no exception. Um, and so yeah. Now she went back with an abusive ex, unfortunately, and we no longer talk. And that's mainly, I haven't reached out because I'm not sure how that situation is, and I don't want to aggravate anything. But yeah, we don't talk anymore, unfortunately. But I still wanted to, narrate my experience with that. Um so yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. It's definitely, I haven't seen too many stories about of a person like me on here losing their virginity.